sorry of my outfit, but we are shooting today, so Professor allowed me to stay like this, but I have in my package nice clothes also. You say in Europe, not the clothes made the man. So for this afternoon session, pictorial session, I will invite Professor S.B. Sinha to present his work. Please, Professor.
Professor Sinha.
Sinha.
Welcome everybody on the dais and as the audience, the scholars. When our life is full of purposiveness, diverse purposiveness, Immanuel Kant defined art as purposiveness without a purpose. Occasion card. I am one of that. My paper is abstract photography. The basic nature and aspiration of individuality is freedom in every sphere of life. A human being achieves complete liberation through the path of knowledge and realization. On the other hand, his confinement and limitation are ignorance. Indeed, institutional education and the library as a knowledge bank are limited to the acquired knowledge. So the further opening of the greater form of liberation is promising in innovation. So the further opening of the greater form of liberation is promising in innovation in every branch of education and every sphere of life. The difference between the realm of acquired knowledge and innovation may be comparable to the difference between photograph and art. A photograph is extended with the finite nature, and art is a journey to the infinite entity and unknown reality. A photograph asserts the objective representation of the visual reality of a thing. It is like a mirror image of a thing as we see with our naked eyes, whereas art is not a representation of what we see, but it represents what we think. So art is the idealization of nature as per Aristotle. Art is subjective. The Indian text Bharat Natyashastra explains art as apurva vastu nirmanakshama prajna. It means that intuition is such a consciousness that can create something new, and the new thing created is art. Bharat Natyashastra again said, natat jnanam, natat shilpam, nasa vidya, nasa kala, naso yoga, natat karma, natesmin janna drishyate. It means there is nothing, it means that there is no knowledge, no education, no art, no concept, communication, and no work that may not be included as art. So everything in nature may be transformed into art, but it is not there in a ready-made form of art. Step one, it is a photograph of some irregular gathering of cloth. It gives no noticeable suggestiveness and may not be considered as art or art of photography. However, there is a form in the middle of there slightly resembles snake. The suggestiveness of snake cannot be emphasized or modified in any way by the camera, but an artist has full freedom to change or modify his form as he wants to see. Like pet 2, this one. It requires deformation of its natural form according to the artist's will. A photograph needs to be transformed into art or art of photography to explore its innovation or creative value beyond the finite boundary of its natural form. So it is a question of how visual photography image may be transformed into art or the art of photography. Regarding this aspect, Bharat Natya Shastra pronounced that Nahi rasad rite kosit artha pravartate. It means that real meaning of art cannot be attained without Ras. Ras is the Indian term, the gracefulness. Ras is the suggestiveness or significant meaning, means thought meaning, which is not remain incorporated with the meaning of word or sentence in literature or a visual form of artwork. Ras is the act of receiving and enjoying taste. The Ras and Ananda are identical. So anything of the nature or its photograph may be transferred into art only with the association of Ras. In Vyanjana, in Indian term, it means blissfulness or significant meaning or suggestiveness. Nature has no suggestiveness or Vyanjana. Artist included it with the natural form in his art through his imagination. The transformation of photography into art often relies on principle of abstraction. So, to resonate with artistic idea and interpretation in any visual element must undergo some level of abstraction. The process is fundamental to the creation of art. There is no art without abstraction. In Encyclopedia of World Art, define abstraction as quote, something a little less than naturalistic to unrecognizable is abstract. When art merely imitates nature, it lacks the creative spark and the artistic unique contribution. While work from style of Greek art or Baroque art may display exceptional skill, they ultimately serve a replicates of nature. Contemporary artists typically reject the idea of adopting these historical styles. They admire their grace but aim to express their own thoughts and emotional content rather than replicate their earlier works. So, an artist has to work through the process of abstraction, where his form of art become entirely new or something different from nature to be suitable for the expression of his idea. Imagination and interpretation this is my work. This is a monochrome. Imagination and interpretation capture this essence can be particularly challenging through traditional photography. It may be possible by manipulation through Photoshop, computer, digital technique, or any distortion of the mechanical function of the camera, etc. Many photographers prefer to snap image through without manipulation, seeking authentic self-expression rather than mere mechanical reproduction. However, transforming the objective reality of a subject into photographers' subjective vision and unique interpretation is not simple. This may be done in two ways. One of them is to deform the appearance and the circumference of natural reality, and the second is to make some changes in its content by creation of new banjana, significant meaning or suggestiveness, and subjective interpretation beyond the natural character. There are so many things appearing in nature before our eyes which have a strong suggestiveness and hints out some unusual imaginative configuration. But usually we ignore them as less important and less relevant to our practical life and thinking. A photographer with a creative mind should remain alert to capture promptly his self-expression reflected on a natural form which may not come again in the next moment or any time in future. That will be his unique mode of expression and will remain only one and uncommon to all. This image is a camera snap without any manipulation. This is an unaltered snapshot taken on the floor. Through the interplay of light and shadow, this image evokes the sensation of a voice, reminiscence of a ship sailing through wave on the sea. In this context, the concept of imagination as a form of suggestiveness takes precedence over the practical reality. In practical reality is floor. The image 4 presents a direct snapshot of the floor, capturing a unique moment that reveals a meditative head of Buddha. This depiction radiates divine expression, tranquility, and inward vision. It is not something one sees daily. Rather, it appears unexpectedly for a fleeting moment during the photographic session. It never to be replicated. The concept of specific time-space holds great importance for such a photograph. This image shows a curious face of a woman, but in practical reality, these are a bunch of exercise books in the reading room. The image of face on exercise books is not real as in practical sense, but as per Shankaracharya, it is not false. It is true for that moment we see. He explained it as Maya, which is Anil Bachaniya, means beyond any explanation. It is art as Maya, a created truth. People accept and appreciate art because it creates truth. The created truth of art is below the logical level, means practical reasoning. So, it may not have any relevance with practical reality, yet it is universally acceptable and enjoyable to the art appreciator. This is a photograph, but everyone will see an image of a face and its expression, but not as a truth of bunch of notebooks. Here, the created truth as Maya supersede the practical reality. Here, abstraction is not in form, but in shifting of idea and content. This image is a direct snap of a tree, but the content of the image speaks for itself something else, as if a big giant in a forest is crying for some unbearable pain. The expression of his extreme pain is exaggerated on his expanded and protruded lips, series of teeth, and wrinkled skin on the back. The content as image of crying image, giant is prominent, and the natural image of tree trunk and leaves creating the surrounding forest atmosphere. This photograph, it is a photograph of stone piece. A pebble is deformed into irregular structure with some negative and positive forms by natural corrosion. The whole of it configuration holds a content showing a crying expression, and inert stone become living one before our eyes, as if his skeletal face is crying and saying something with this pain of a age-long undying life. Here, the form expressing the truth different from natural reality. Displayed a photograph capturing a moment of a daily journey of a metro railway passenger in Kolkata. A man is sleeping peacefully in his seat, looking relaxed. There a poster of advertisement of Khadim footwear in his back wall. It looks like a character of Bharat in the epic Ramayana, who received King Ram's footwear on his head and later on as icon put. Similarly, the man in the photograph seems receiving footwear on his head as icon of some responsibility which holds with satisfaction and relaxation against celebrating his comfort. One poster writing is there, celebrate comfort. This is a normal roadside view, but it gives some significant meaning to me, the triumph of life over death. This moment evokes reflection of distant past, when first life emerged from inanimate material. It represents the continuous progression of evolution, moving from the past through present and to future. This photograph is capturing midnight snapshot taken from my room in Shantiniketan, but it gives us a different ghost-like appearance, but it is not ghost. But if I say I am seeing some false image, but camera does not see. This is torn cloth, but it looks like a watchman seeing everything through his hollow vision. But all these references are without manipulation of form, but shifting of idea from natural reality to some idealistic view. But these are second way where form is changed. Form is don't depict any fixed idea of nature. We don't know where it has taken. But this abstract formation gives its own version, own content. So here form is changed. It is American photographer Aaron Selskin. These are his photographs. All they are taken from deformed material on the nature, paint layer, distracted architecture, and different way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor. Please stay a bit. If you have somebody have some question, please. I would like to congratulate to you for the interesting face. For me, it was the best work, in my opinion. And please, somebody have some question? Okay, no questions. Thank you very much.